Your user preferences for AEM can be found by clicking on the person icon in the upper right corner of the management window. The backend is available in 2 languages only, English and German. You can choose your language preference in the first field. Adobe also provides help overlays in the backend. This can be turned on for quick reference in your user preferences by marking the checkbox Show Help Overlays. You can work your way through the product navigation and then mark Don't Show This Again to turn them off, or open the preferences again and turn them off. To the right of many fields in dialogues and overlays, you will see an information icon, the little I. Clicking on these will give you useful information or hints about the requirements of those fields, especially if there are restrictions for their configuration. Additionally, in each component in the system, there will be a help button at the top of the dialog, the question mark. Clicking on this will take you directly to the manual page for that component for your convenience. In the top left of the page editor, you will also find a menu button labeled F. This is provided for author convenience to report any technical bugs found while editing a page. It will send a ticket directly to our Jira development application for review. Typically, the entry point to AEM is the Site Manager. The back-end view should be divided into 2 panels. The left will display the content tree of the entire system, and the right will display the sub-items of a selected item in that left panel tree. For example, if a folder is highlighted, then the website's home pages would be displayed in the right panel. And if a page of a website is selected, then the child pages of that page would be displayed in the right panel. If you're not seeing the left content tree panel, then it could be hidden or turned off. The left panel view is controlled with a drop down on the left side, and if you see content only displayed there, then select Content Tree from the drop down to return the left panel tree. If you're not seeing the list view in the right panel, then the view of that panel is controlled from the right side view drop down. There are 2 additional views available for this panel, a column view and a tile view, but the list view will provide you with the best overview of your website structure and the status of its pages. The default list view in the right panel provides a really good overview of the status of your website's pages. The first 2 columns displayed are the title and the name column. The title displays the title of a page, and the name column is the URL used for a page. Typically, the template type is displayed in the template column on the right, but if a live copy is used on a website, you will see this type of template noted as a live copy under the title of the page. The published and modified columns are the most important for knowing the status of a page. In the published column, you can see a published page with green date status. And unpublished and deactivated pages are denoted as such with the respective text in that column. If a previously published page has been modified but not republished yet, you'll see the blue status for the date in the modified column. In addition, in the published column, if the online-offline functionality in the page properties has been used, it will be indicated with a small clock icon to the right of the date. And if one uses the delayed publish or unpublished functionality in the Manage Publication menu item, then this is indicated with a calendar icon to the right of the date. Occasionally you might see in the far right column, in the workflow column, some system workflow information associated with the page. Sometimes these can be automatic or could be something that you've done like move or rename, and they will show a status and then eventually just disappear. The order in which pages are displayed in the right panel is generally the order seen in a website's navigation structure. If it's necessary to reorder pages in a section, then on the far right of each row in the right panel, you'll see a double row of dots. These are used to rearrange the order of your pages in a drag and drop manner. At any time, the Site Manager will show you the menu options available for what is selected. So initially, when just something is highlighted in the left tree, you'll only see the Create menu drop down on the right side with its available menu options. To directly select a page or pages in the Site Manager, you will need to click on the thumbnail to the left of the page title. A selected item always appears as a highlighted item in blue with a check mark. And once one or more are selected, you will see the relevant menu items appear in the menu bar above that can be applied to that specific selection. With a page selected and beginning with the first menu option on the left, the Create dropdown, there are several menu options, but Page is the most commonly used menu item for websites. This allows for the creation of a new page under the selected page. An overlay will open with a selection of available templates. The first, the ATLZ content page, is the standard content page used for AEM websites. Click on a template to select it and then click Next, and you'll be asked to enter a title for the new page and a URL for the page. If the URL field is left blank, the system will create one directly from the page title entered. If your title is long or it contains special characters, it's best to add a shorter, more curated URL in that field using proper URL formatting, lowercase, no spaces or special characters, and use dashes and never underscores for word separators. Underscores are ignored by search engines. Then click Create and your page will be created, and the dialog will ask you if you wish to open the newly created page in the page editor mode, or if you wish to stay in the Site Manager, just select Done, and you'll return to the Site Manager and you'll see your page was created and is visible in the left content tree in the right panel. Also note that if a page is not directly selected in the right pane, then there is the Create menu dropdown on the right side of the Site Manager. This is also available to create pages, but will create a page directly into the right pane, basically under the page that was selected in the left content tree. There are two ways to open a page in the page editor mode. You can select the page in the right pane by clicking on the thumbnail to the left of the title and selecting Edit from the menu options displayed. This will open the selected page in the page editor. The other way could also be to double click on the page in the left pane content tree. It will also open the page editor. And as we saw before with the Create page, you also had the option with the dialog to open it directly. The Properties menu item will open up the Page Properties overlay for that page. Depending on the template, there could be some other dialog tabs displayed, but the common tabs are Basic, Advanced, and Appearance. In the Basic tab, you can adjust the title of a page if necessary. There are also additional title fields for special cases where a formatted title is needed, for example, one that contains special characters, as well as a field for a short title, which is ideal for pages with longer titles that would need a shorter, more navigation-friendly title to be displayed in the main navigation overlay, the content navigation, or in hamburger menu on mobile. The page description and buzzwords fields are typically no longer used or considered for search engines, therefore it's recommended to leave those blank. And the tag field is only relevant for news article pages and used for filtering for news. The translated URL field should only be used for multiple language websites and never on a home page. For the language switch to work on a website, the backend URLs of matching pages should be exactly the same in the backend. Therefore, for the pages where the URL is not in the language of the website, the translated pages, a translated URL should be added in this field. This will replace only on the front end a URL for search engines and users. The URL added should follow proper URL formatting and be lowercase, have no spaces or special characters, and use dashes, not underscores, for word separators. The Advanced tab has options to hide a page from the navigation and also to hide a page from search engines so that it's not indexed. And if there is time-sensitive page content that requires a specific online or offline time, then the online-offline time fields can be used. Beware, if an online time is set, you would need to activate the page after setting it, but at that time, a snapshot or a version of the page is created in the system. And so therefore, you shouldn't edit the page between the time that you set it and that online time. If you do, then any modifications made will be reverted back to that version or snapshot. And in order to make the edits or modifications since that setting, you would need to activate the page again to make it visible on the front end. Also in the Advanced tab is the ability to set a closed user group on a page such that access on the publish side is only granted after a valid user logs in. There is an option for anyone with an ETH user account or for a custom group, which could be a Lightsol number or a special Durex group created in that particular application. Protected pages are not visible on the publish side in the navigation until a user has logged in. Therefore, it's important to link to protected pages so that valid users are aware of their existence. If you need to display math equations on a web page, then it is also possible to add LaTeX format in a text component. And if checkbox Parse LaTeX is marked, then the equations will display properly on the page in the front end. The general color theme for a website is set in the homepage page properties, and this is inherited to all pages of a website. But the Appearance tab in a particular page will allow you to override the website color theme and set a particular corporate color theme for that page only. If you wish to copy a specific page, select the page and then click on the Copy menu item. Navigate to where you want to place the page and then click on the Paste menu item to the left of the Create menu button in the top right of the Site Manager. The page will then be placed in the selected part of the website structure. If a page is copy-pasted in the same place in the structure, then you will see that page with a 1 appended to the existing URL. You will then most likely need to adjust the URL of that page. The Move menu option has two main purposes: to rename a URL of a page, or actually to move a page to another location in your website, or maybe another website if you happen to have access to more than one. Clicking on the Move menu item will open an overlay where you can change the title of the page being moved or renamed. This title field can be used to change the title only if you're going to rename the URL or actually move the destination of a page, but it cannot be used to change the title only. For that, you have to use the basic tab of the page properties of the page. The second field shows the current page URL. If the URL needs adjusting, it can be done in that field, but proper URL formatting must be followed. Click on Next to display the destination overlay. The current path or location of the page can be seen from the series of highlighted pages, the last page being the current parent. If you wish also to move the page to a new location, then you'll need to navigate to the new parent page and then select it. If it's to stay in the same place, you are only renaming, for example, the page URL, then you can click on that current parent page by clicking on the thumbnail to the left of the highlighted page. And then the page is selected only if it's highlighted in a darker blue with a checkbox. Then click on Move, and then in the pop-up dialog, it will have options to do this function later. We don't recommend using this functionality since it can easily cause confusion whenever working on a website. Therefore, maintain the option now and click Continue and then OK in the final notice, and your adjustments will have been made. The Quick Publish menu item is used to publish a page or pages immediately. You can select one or more pages by clicking on the thumbnail to the left of the page title and then click on Quick Publish. It is also possible to select all items in the right pane and do a bulk publish by clicking on the checkbox next to the title column name. Clicking on it a second time will also unselect all the pages in the right pane. The same can also be accomplished in the Site Manager with the Select All menu item to the left of the Create menu button. And then to unmark them, the top right Escape can also be clicked. The Manage Publication menu item has two main functionalities: to unpublish or deactivate a page, or to do specifically timed publishing or unpublishing of a web page. The difference between the Properties Online Offline functionality and the Manage Publication functionality is that there's no snapshot taken with this setting. You will not activate the page like you would when using the Page Properties Online Offline time. The page remains unpublished and will do so until the set time is reached, at which time the page is activated by a system workflow and then a new version is created. This means that any modifications made to a page between setting that time and the actual time for the publication are considered, and the version of the page that exists in the back end at that time will go online. To simply unpublish or deactivate a page, select the page to be deactivated by clicking on the thumbnail to the left of the page title and select Manage Publication from the menu options above. The Manage Publication overlay will open. Click on Unpublish for the immediate unpublishing of a page. The scheduling default, which is already set for now, is applicable. So click on Next and then Unpublish in the upper right of the last overlay. You will be returned to the Site Manager window and you can see that your page is now unpublished and is no longer visible on the front end to users. If you wish to delete a page in the Site Manager, it's important to first check references to a page to see if another page or a website is referencing the page to be deleted. This helps prevent broken links on AEM websites. To check the references, click on the thumbnail to the left of the page title in the right pane. Then, from the Content Tree drop-down on the left, click on References. The left panel will then display information such as if a page is a source of a live copy, if there are existing language copies for the page, and it will also note the number of incoming links to that page. If there are live copies and language copies, then these should also be noted and taken care of at the same time as the source page. If there are incoming links noted, you can click on this area and it will then list the paths of the sources of the links. And you can click on each one and the edit button and it will take you to those target pages to update and remove those links if necessary, or you can notify the author of those pages so that they can update their page accordingly. When you're ready to delete a page, you will not see a delete menu item in the menu bar above unless a page has first been unpublished. To unpublish a page or deactivate a page, select the page by clicking on the thumbnail to the left of the title in the right pane, and then click on the Manage Publication menu item. Click on Unpublish, keeping the Now scheduling status, and then click on Next. Then click on Unpublish in the upper right corner of the final overlay, and then Confirm in the pop-up dialog. Once confirmed, you'll be returned to the Site Manager, and the page will show a deactivated status in the Publish column. Select that page again, and then to delete the page, click on the Delete menu item that is now displayed in the menu bar above. You will be asked to confirm the deletion, and then the page will be removed from the system. A version in the system is a snapshot of a page at any particular time. Either a version is created manually or it is created automatically when a page is activated or published. Versions are only kept in the system for approximately 90 days, unless, of course, it is the only version for a page, in which case it will stay until the page is activated again. To create a manual version of a page, select the page by clicking on the thumbnail to the left of the page title. and then from the Create menu drop-down in the top left of the Site Manager, select Version. A pop-up will appear for you to add a meaningful or recognizable label for your version that you wish to create. Enter one in the label field and then select Create. To see all available versions of a particular page, click on the thumbnail to the left of the page title to select it, and then from the Content Tree drop-down at the top of the left pane, select Timeline. Here you'll see the full history of events for a page. Initially, it will only display the few latest events. To see the full history, you may need to click on a More button at the top. You may need to do this more than once. Click the button until you find the version that you might be looking for. You can preview or even compare a prior version to the current version of a page by clicking on the version, and then to compare, click on Compare to Current. Compare to Current will actually show a snapshot of both of the versions side by side. To close and return to where you were, click on the Close button in the top right. If you wish to revert to a particular version of a page, then you can click on the Revert to this version button, and it will restore that version as the current page. Remember also to activate the page again if you want to make that version visible on the front end. Images and document files are an important part of website content. In AEM, all image and document files are stored in the Asset Manager. Generally, when a website is requested, a protosite is provided as well as a corresponding asset folder in the Asset Manager. To navigate from the Site Manager to the Asset Manager, you will need to use the navigation overlay, which is accessed via the Adobe Experience Manager logo in the top left and the black bar of the Site Manager. When clicked on, it will open the navigation overlay. Choose Assets, and then choose Files from the final overlay, and then you'll be directed to the Asset Manager. To get back to the Site Manager from the Asset Manager, the same procedure is done but in reverse. Click on the Adobe Experience Manager logo in the top left, then click on Assets at the top, then Sites from the main navigation overlay. This will open the Site Manager back up again.